was great. I mean, just perfect. Meant for voiceover work. It was so great. And everybody was that way in this film.
Hello. Please come in. There's some fresh cookies in the cookie jar. There's a pitcher of Kool-Aid on the counter. Have a seat. We'll put a movie on for you. This is Movies at Grandma's House, where we look at the movies from the past to see if they're good with our modern eyes and Grandma approves. And I'm your host, Isaac. I thought we'd be dead by step 2. This is going great. And who's joining me to cover the movie Over the Hedge?
This is Seth. Let's call it Steve.
I love that line. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing really good today. I was off today and just chilling out and getting ready for this, really.
Oh, this is a special movie to cover. We'll get to it because we've talked so long about covering this movie, and here we are. But other than my bum shoulder, it's still bothering me. I don't know why, but is it possible to dislocate a shoulder just sleeping on it wrong? Because that's what it feels like. I don't know what the deal is. It's like
could be a pinched nerve,
probably. But I'm here with you. We're able to cover the movie. I'm good otherwise. But that's I guess the fun of being an adult and getting older is just dealing with stuff like that. But this is. Yeah, we're so excited to cover this episode. This is one that you, the listener, voted for. So thank you so much for putting your voice out there and letting us know. We were excited to see that. We have so many movies to get to. This is one, again, that we were looking forward to cover whenever that time would be. So if you want to be up to date on our polls, make sure you smash that subscribe. Go ahead while you're at it. Hit that like button. It's right next to the subscribe. If you don't mind, if you could be so kind, smash that for us as well. And be sure you're up to date on our polls so you can decide which episode we cover next. And consider this your spoiler warning. From here on out, we're going to be considering the film. So if you have not seen it, consider yourself warned. So once again, we are covering this week the movie Over the Hedge. It came out on May 19th. 2006, nearly 20 years ago. Can't get over that. It's just say it every time, but here we are. It had a budget of $80 million, and the box office, it had $339.8 million. So it did pretty good there at the box office, and with inflation, I think that's really good. We'll find out. Maybe you'll correct me later on about that, but looking at reviews, pretty much favorable, overall positive. IMDb, I'm seeing 6.7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes is 75%. So very favorable on that end. About 74% I'm seeing on Google. Just a quick glance. That's what I'm seeing, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts. What are some first memories you have with this movie?
So I remember when this was new, 19 years ago. Loved the voice acting. It was it left an impression.
This was like everywhere. That's what my first memory is just the marketing, the ads, and it's got a star-studded cast. We'll get to that, I'm sure, later in talking the voice acting. I've got a confession. I did not see this when it came out. I have no idea why. Like, I got no answer for you. This seems like one of those movies I would have rushed out to see. I can recall my brother seeing it. He loved it. He would tell me all these funny lines. It has, The Office was big at the time, Steve Carell. So he's telling me all these funny quotes, and I got nothing. Memory does not serve me right on why I didn't see this movie. And I saw parts of it, but I can say I never saw this all the way through. So I am sad to admit that. I really don't know why, but that's kind of my first memories. I recall this movie being everywhere, but sadly, I don't have any actual memories of watching it. With that said, though, what were some of your expectations on going back on the rewatch?
Simply just prepare to laugh.
like I said, I hadn't seen it all the way through. So I was like kind of excited. I was like, I finally get to sit down and watch this with my kids like I always do, but I get to watch it kind of with a fresh take. So I didn't know what to expect. I was just like, I've heard so much about this. I just want to sit back and, like you said, laugh. I want to have a good time and just see where it takes us. Well, before we get to our plot rewind, let's pause just a moment to hear from our sponsors.
Love movies as much as we do? Bring the experience of the big screen to your walls with movieposters.com. Whether you're into classics, blockbusters, or indie gems, they've got something for every film fanatic. As a listener of our podcast, you can get 15% off your order now. Just use code Grandma's House 15 at checkout. Head to movieposters.com and let's build your ultimate collection today.
All right, so let's take the DVD out of the case. Let's put it in the player and press play. And press play.
When RJ, a thieving raccoon, steals from the wrong bear, he has to come up with a plan to return the bear's food. He stumbles across a small group who are looking for food themselves. He smooth talks them into finding more food. That's when everything that could go wrong does. Pour the Kool-Aid, find your beanbag chair. Granny's got the perfect movie for you.
Yes, I appreciate that. This is it kind of starts out dark, but then it really builds. That's what really hit me at first. But I want to hear from your thoughts. What's your first impressions when you're watching this film?
So the script, the voiceovers, the animation really shine. I love how the introduction jumps to the plot immediately. There's no lingering. There's no, let's take time to build characters and everything until we actually get to the plot. It's right there, taking you right to the heart of the film.
Yeah, that's what really jumps out. It's like you're watching it and it starts out with RJ stealing stuff and showing his scavenger kind of, personality, and he can't stop. He's stealing from a bear and it's this can of chips. He can't resist it. He has everything else, but no, he has to go back for those chips. So very early on, I was very impressed with that. Just simple things like that of conveying the character, kind of what you're in for. Like you said, the plot right away sets the tone of he did some bad things to this bear, and now this bear has set a ultimatum for him that, he's got a week to make up for all the stuff that he lost. So I thought that was very interesting. Hits the ground running, so to say, and then it kind of dials it back a little bit. It introduces you to those characters, but it's still very fast paced. It's very much, here it is. We're not hiding anything. Let's just get to it. And I know that's what a lot of people love. And some people, it might be like, oh, this is overwhelming, but I loved it. I thought it was great how they started it that way. Just kind of like no nonsense. And certain movies maybe need to build. This didn't need to do it. So that's what I think really sticks out to me. But yeah, what did you think about the plot? Getting back to that, just overall, it is kind of interesting for a kid's movie.
Yeah, it's very different. I felt the plot was very strong. It delivered a great story and was a fun journey. Like you had mentioned, there are some dark elements to the plot. Actually, the whole plot is pretty dark, so it's not really elements. But it lightens that mood almost immediately. And so you're kind of like left thinking, so what's going to happen here? And that's what you really get attached to the characters. And I thought that was delivered brilliantly.
I agree. Yeah, there is a darker tone of, this bear is pretty much like, I'm going to kill you. He even says as much in the movie of, RJ tries to steal this stuff. It gets hit by a car in a hilarious fashion. He's pretty much like, every single thing that I had needs to be back in a week's time or I'm going to kill you. I'm more on the darker tone, but you can appreciate it because it goes along with that character. Meeting these animals that hibernated, they're coming out of hibernation, they're trying to get their food, but guess what? There's this big Hedge, aka Steve, that is now up, and there's all these people around. So they're like in a shell shock state, and he's kind of that guiding, like, oh no, you can do this, but he has that hidden agenda of yeah, I've got this bear trying to kill me. So I like that plot. I like that element. As dark as it can be, I think it's still fun. It's a kid's movie, so you kind of in the back of your mind, as much as that is dark, you're like, he's not really going to kill him. Wouldn't want to see that, but I really do appreciate that, though. It's not just a straightforward, here's a bunch of animals and they're trying to get together. But yeah, that kind of leads into the characters. Again, the plot introduces you to them. There's so many characters. I want to open it up to you, though. What did you think of the characters?
So let's take a minute to celebrate the cast. You've got Bruce Willis, Gary Shandling, Wanda Sykes, Steve Carell, Allison Janney, Nick Nolte, William Shatner, Eugene Levy, Thomas Hayden Church, and Catherine O'Hara, to name a few. So I have to, I've already mentioned also my love for Allison Janney on Finding Nemo episode, but this cast is wow.
Yeah. Where do you kind of tapped into it, but it's like, where do you start? There's just one thing after the other. Bruce Willis is your main character with RJ. And you're thinking, it was a $80 million budget, which inflation, that might be a little bit more. I'm thinking, how do they afford all these people? These are some big stars. Bruce Willis alone had to command, maybe he took a price cut or something, but you have to think he was definitely the highest paid or up there. And going back to, Steve Carell was at his all-time like prime peak or whatever, with The Office being very popular. He was the it. And all those names. I just go through the list one by one. They're all, in a way, they can either be a supporting, like a main supporting, but I still can't get over it. I think they're all fantastic. That's one thing I was making a note of when I'm watching this, was it wasn't just a bunch of names either. I really respect when they get these bigger names, but they do so well at it. Avril Lavigne is in this movie. And if you aren't paying attention, actually, you wouldn't recognize her voice. I feel like, did you feel like you could recognize?
No, I was actually trying to pay attention and really look for it. And I got about halfway through the movie and I was like, oh, that's her. Okay. If I could jump back in real quick and talk about finance, like the financial side of the casting. I know when we were growing up, what was very popular is the leading actress would get like $15 to $25 million for these big movies. Well, that kind of has gone down a little. And what they do is they give incentives. Like if this movie does well, it is received well, we'll give you a percentage of the movie overall. And for a DreamWorks movie, it's going to be big. And so that's a smarter thing to do financially than take a lump sum, because that'll pay out forever.
Right.
Basically. And that's interesting because you were saying how they might have taken Bruce Willis probably did take a cut for this movie. But nowadays he would get a percentage of that film, and that would be paying for the rest of his family forever. So
yeah, that's a great point. I'm thinking of other movies, not to get sidetracked, but I think I just recall an article with Robert Downey Jr. He did that with the Iron Man Marvel movies. So just do the math. He made so much more than if he was paid per picture. I think the article said something about hundreds of millions. That's just insane. So kind of a little glimpse of, that's a smarter play at times.
If I could just jump off one more second.
Go for it.
So I believe it was Matt Damon that was offered Avatar. And he would have made $350 million from one movie.
Nuts. It's just nuts.
Yeah.
It's a bit, sometimes you see that happen. It doesn't work out. Sometimes they do bank on, this is going to be a hit, and it isn't. But if
he's doing fine, though.
Right,
he's doing fine. Don't worry about him, folks.
Yeah. I think he's a household name by now if you want to look at things for sure. But yeah, I just love this casting. I was just in love with this cast. We've considered so many movies with those all-star casts. I don't think this was any different. If you go back to those promos, they are definitely pushing the names, which I would too. I would definitely be pushing these names out there as you're advertising. But this it warms my heart when I just see, going back to like talking about Avril Lavigne, I didn't think, okay, this is just her phoning it in. She actually had this like character that she was doing, because Avril Lavigne, going back to like Steve Carell was kind of the it, Avril Lavigne was kind of the it. So they had these names that are definitely associated with the time, but I respect them so much because I feel like the voice acting is very well done. William Shatner is just, he's a ball to listen to as a possum that's over dramatic of faking his death and things like that. That's what sticks out in my mind. I love it though. This casting is just awesome.
I thought Nick Nolte as the bear was like, he changed his voice a little bit. I
Yeah.
thought it was really great, and I kind of wanted him in the movie more. Actually,
Yeah. That's a great point with him. Like, you don't hardly recognize his voice either. And that's where my respect comes in. I'm not saying you have to change your voice completely, but if you're just sitting in a recording booth and you just record your voice, okay, that's still, you might have the talent because you're acting, but I just have that much more respect for somebody if they're able to get in character. And there's a lot of characters. I mean, each one of these personalities, RJ, again, he's kind of that, scavenger. He's all about where can it benefit me. You have Vern, kind of that cautious turtle. Hammy's the energetic squirrel. I love it. It's just a lot of different personalities for such a big cast, for such a big ensemble of characters. But you could almost say, I love this one. I love this one. If you're going to ask, like, what's your favorite? I mean, I have to throw that out there. What was your favorite character?
oh, I mean,
That's a tough.
RJ was probably my favorite. I liked them all. Each character was so pronounced, and they did such a good job. Like you were talking, I was talking about the voiceover work. It's hard not to have like multiple favorite characters. I mean, like it's so well done, just so well done.
Yeah. I like RJ. I mean, Hammy steals the show for sure. And I mean, if you like Steve Carell, obviously, but that character plays such a central part in the plot towards the end. That's something I remember my brother telling me about. He's like, he's already energetic and he drinks caffeine and time just stops. And I just lost it. I thought it was so funny. This was back before all the movies did the whole like time stops and speed. So I really appreciate that scene. The part where he fakes having rabies to get the wagon from the girls.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was in stitches. I was almost crying laughing. That is just, if you watch this movie and you just watch that scene alone, the rest of the movie, I think there's so many funny parts, but that is probably my favorite. I was in stitches laughing. Was there a part like that? I mean, there's so much comedy in this movie.
Honestly, for me, Vern was the second favorite. I loved how he played off of the opposite of RJ, and he actually talks about it in the film. And and Gary Shandling's voice was great. I mean, just perfect, meant for voiceover work. It was so great, and everybody was that way in this film. Even Eugene Levy, he was just so funny.
Yes, I'm glad you brought up Vern. I was gonna say he's an actor that was just, he was made to play that role. It just fits him so well, and he's kind of the one that thinks realistically. RJ's kind of like, hey, let's do this. He's got everybody going, and he's kind of that opposite. He's always conflicting with RJ, but that's great chemistry. I would have never thought those two actors would have worked so well, and in an animated movie at that.
Yeah,
just I give this like A+ on casting. Like, just not even just the names associated, but the delivery. This is one of the best castings, you could argue, if not the best, one of the best that we've considered so far. And we've considered a lot of good casting, but man, this is right there. I loved it. This was such a strong suit of it. The other thing that comes to mind, I guess, is like the quotes. I mean, I got to throw the quotes out there. What were some of your favorites?
I love Steve A. Vern. I think we both were loving the That is an SUV. Humans ride in them because they are slowly losing their ability to walk.
Yeah. I love that scene because then the next quote is I forget who asks it, but it's like, how many humans can fit in there? And RJ's just like, one. Never fails. I see an SUV on the road, even today. This was back 19 years ago, but I still to this day will see an SUV and there's one person driving in it. And it was so funny.
That quote kind of stung me because I had an SUV and I don't have a family. Like, I don't have kids or anything. So
you were adding to it. I get it though.
Yes.
I get it. Oh, there's so many quotes. I mean, that could be an episode on its own. This is one of those. If you're not gathering already, we had a good time with this one. The kids were laughing. The part where he's talking about food, they wear the food. They talk about the food. That was just hilarious. And one of my favorites. It's more on the subtle, but they're planning to get into the house to recoup the things. And so there's a lineup of what those traps from the exterminator. And he just says, there's traps set here and here and here and here and here and here. I love that because it's kind of a trope of what you see in movies, like, some kind of spy or whatever movie that they're trying to get in somewhere. And there's like, we need to go here, here, here. But it's just making fun. I laughed at that. And the kids, they had such a fun time with it. This is just one of those movies. We could go on and on about the quotes, but it's so much fun. It's so much fun. If you hadn't gathered already, we had such a good time with it.
I don't think that the animation was a focal point of this one, but what did you think about the animation as well?
If there's a negative, maybe the animation shows its age. We've talked about certain movies in the animation kind of for its time. Maybe it was groundbreaking. I do think they were pushing that because there's like a post credits or during the credits, they're kind of showing a cell of them, but it kind of does look dated. I don't think it's bad though. I don't think it was a bad animation, but if you want to look at a negative, it's like, I kind of wish it aged a little better. I don't know. How did you feel about it?
I felt like the story and the character acting was the main focal point, and they didn't try as hard to do great animation. Although I thought RJ was way better animated than anybody else. Did you catch that?
I was going to say they had to have put the budget into him with all the hair.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think he's the best looking.
Yeah, his face is like way better, like just to look at than the other characters. I don't know why. I don't know if it was a budget thing or if it was like a time thing. No, it wasn't a time thing. I got a fun fact about that.
Yeah, that was a thing I was going to bring out is just the animation maybe not as aged as well as it used to. You look back at some movies, they have a style to them. Hang on a second. So now I'm interested, what are some of the fun facts to go along with this film?
So I'll jump right in. It took a crew of 237 over 3 years to make.
Wow.
Could you imagine?
We just kind of knocked the animation, but I mean, that's still impressive. Yeah. So that shows you.
Yeah, they put their time into it.
That is impressive. Ooh, okay. That's kind of cool. I love little fun facts like that they draw inspiration for something. And yeah, so now who knows? Maybe we'll go visit it someday. Now that's all I'm going to think of.
So RJ tells other animals that animals eat and live and humans live to eat. He is paraphrasing Socrates, who once said, "Good men eat and drink only to live, and bad men live only to eat and drink."
I like that. That's really cool. It was kind of that, and I thought, that's kind of insightful. Yeah. But when you put 2 and 2 together, I definitely see the connection. That's really cool.
Another one is Adam Sandler, Owen Wilson, Robin Williams, Nicolas Cage, John C. Reilly, Bob Saget, and Tim Allen were all considered for the role of RJ before Bruce Willis was cast.
Okay. When you mention those names, I'm like, what would that be like, that cast together? That's crazy. Put all those names in a movie. Bruce Willis just worked well. I think that character, RJ in that character. No disrespect. I think the other actors, maybe some of them, I think some of them where I was thinking not for that character. They could have played a different one. But that's so cool. That's interesting. Very interesting. They were targeting some big names for sure. Not that they didn't already, but those are some big ones.
And now it's time for our fun fact trivia question. So, who was considered for the role of Hammy before Steve Carell was cast? A. Patton Oswalt, B. Tim Conway, or C. Gavin MacLeod?
Oh, man. So it was before Steve Carell, though. So that's what's interesting.
Yes.
Okay. I could see Patton Oswalt, that name we keep bringing up, but I'm going to go with Steve Conway.
Sorry, I had to. It was a trick question.
Ah.
Patton Oswalt, Tim Conway, and Gavin MacLeod were all considered for the role.
Oh, so I got it right.
You go.
Okay.
You got one.
You bailed me out. I appreciate it. I was on a losing streak there. You helped me technically get out of that. Yeah, I can see them all, though. Okay. That's interesting. I think Steve Carell, I'll go back to again. He knocked it out of the park, though. That was just, I loved his character. If he wasn't my favorite, he was up there for sure. I mean, I love so many of the characters, and he steals the show for sure. But the others would not have done a bad job, I don't think at all. But I'm still kind of happy they got Steve Carell. I'm very happy they got him for that role.
That's all my fun facts.
So, all right. Well, there you go. Let's consider then what kind of reviews are out there before we get to ours. So, Seth, what kind of reviews are you seeing out there?
So our repeat offender, the little songbird, said, "This is definitely one of the better DreamWorks animated movies. 9 out of 10.
All right. And good job, little songbird. You seem to be pretty much, I think there might have been a few movies we don't agree with, but
I was thinking the same thing. They're very, I wouldn't say critical, but like particular in their way they deliver their ratings. Because we've seen some that were kind of harsh. So that's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah. It's great to see a familiar face, though.
Yes. So Brando647 says, "Fun animated movie for kids and adults, 7 out of 10.
Okay. 7's a respectable rating, too. So it seemed like they enjoyed it, though. That's good.
Lauren in Tokyo said, "Witty, warm, and absolutely enjoyable, 10 out of 10.
Ooh, wow. Really enjoyed it then. Yeah. But it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. We've talked about it. We kind of gushed about it. That's a word I like to use when we really like something. I think that's not any kind of mystery, but it's interesting to see ones give it a 10. So glad to see ones enjoyed it as well. But all right. Well, let's get down to it. Let's get to our rating. So I have to ask you, Seth, for Over the Hedge, how are you going to rate it? Are you going to take it home? Are you going to leave it at grandma's? Or are you going to hide it in the attic?
So overall, it's a pleasant, fun movie, easy to watch. The music was wonderful. I've got to take this home because it's one of DreamWorks' best family movies.
No mystery for me. I'm taking this home. I'm just leading it right out the gate on my rating because it has what I love. I'm a quotes guy, and some movies maybe they do have the quotes, but this just hits on it. For me, I clicked with it. I was drawn in. Downside, I talked about the animation might show its age at times. I think, like you said, RJ looks good. There's certain elements that look good, but it's just maybe a little rough around the edges, so to say, at times. But it's not something that I think, oh, let's ruin the movie or anything. But I'm trying to think of flaws of this movie. Maybe the plot's a little too dark, or maybe certain characters, they do have a lot of energy. I could see maybe some don't like certain characters. I loved them all. I mean, I thought they were fantastic, and they all served a purpose. They all had something special about them, what they contributed to the story and the plot. So no surprises. My kids loved it. They were laughing. If I can hear my kids belly laugh, I'm automatically like, this is a great movie. So yeah, get the kids, get grandma. There might be some potty humor there, but that's kind of par for the course. I think family movies are going to have that sometimes. But this is a family flick that I think everybody's going to have a fun time and laugh with. But with that said, we still got to hear from grandma. So what is Granny's family-friendly rating?
Granny's family-friendly rating for this is a B+ for some crude humor and themes that can be dark at times.
So there you go. Pretty much just, a little word of caution. Yeah, the bear threatening to kill RJ, that might be a little dark, but other than that, again, can't say enough. It's going to be something the whole family should be able to enjoy. Well, there it is, folks. We have another movie in our log that we've covered. So before we wrap things up, Seth, why don't you tell the good people where they can find and connect with us?
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can email us at movies@grandmashouse@gmail.com. We have a newsletter, so keep up to date with all things Movies at Grandma's House. Patreon, we are now on Patreon. Check us out and become a member so that we can stay up to date. And go to movieposters.com and type in Grandma's House 15 at checkout for 15% off.
That's it. All good stuff. And give a highlight to our newsletter. It's starting to grow. We have a lot of goodies in there. We have right now a free movie ticket you can customize. You can print it out so you can make your movie night special for all the family. Have that theater experience in your own home. So that'll do it for now. But as we always say, we'll be back to Grandma's house soon. So in the meantime, remember to be kind and rewind. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye, Steve.
Oh, love.